The Galactic Summit Hall brimmed with energy as representatives from every corner of the galaxy took their seats. Grandiose beings of various forms, some sleek, others armored in scales or shimmering exoskeletons, converged in a spectacle of alien power and technological display. Amid these illustrious species, humanity's ambassadors sat silently, enduring the subtle sneers and dismissive glances aimed their way. In the vast hierarchy of the galaxy's civilizations, humanity was new and underestimated, perceived as primitive in both thought and ability. Yet, the human diplomats maintained a calm composure, observing rather than reacting, their expressions unreadable. An alien diplomat, a towering creature from the Clather Dominion with gleaming scales that caught the light in sharp, intimidating patterns, rose to speak. In an almost rehearsed tone, he addressed the summit, throwing a thinly veiled barb at the humans. He spoke of the importance of unity among the advanced races, underlining the responsibilities they bore as the protectors and arbiters of peace, a responsibility he implied was beyond the grasp of Earth's species. The audience responded with nods, murmurs, and the occasional chuckle, all subtly directed at humanity's expense. This was an initiation, a trial designed to measure Earth's representatives, perhaps in the hope of sparking some outburst or defensiveness that would confirm their primitive nature. The chief human ambassador leaned forward, maintaining an air of composure as he listened. Every line delivered by the Clather speaker rolled off him, showing no sign of hurt or anger, only the intense focus of someone gathering intelligence. This restraint itself puzzled the watching aliens. Humanity had been tested before, ridiculed in subtle ways to assess its boundaries. Other species had faltered, provoked to defensive speeches or pitiful justifications, but these humans remained silent and steady, offering no fuel for the fire. Another alien rose, a member of the Dirkari, known for their towering intellect and a reputation for creating devices that measured the very edges of time itself. He addressed humanity directly, eyes narrowing with an inquisitive edge, asking a question that cloaked ridicule in the guise of diplomacy. He inquired whether Earth had managed to master faster-than-light travel yet, using exaggerated layman's terms as if to simplify the question for the humans. His tone dripped with condescension. A wave of laughter rippled through the audience, subtle and restrained but unmistakable. They all leaned in, awaiting humanity's answer. The lead human diplomat, a seasoned strategist and master in the art of silence, simply smiled, his gaze cool and collected. He responded with a gentle but enigmatic statement about humanity's continued progress in numerous fields. His words neither confirmed nor denied anything specific, but there was something in his voice that made a few alien representatives shift uncomfortably in their seats. The lack of defensive bluster, the refusal to play into the trap, unsettled them. Was humanity hiding something, or were they simply out of their depth? The summit proceeded with a series of proclamations, demonstrations, and subtle taunts directed at the humans. One after another, the most advanced species displayed their recent technological breakthroughs, fleets of cloaked ships, pulsating energy shields, weapons capable of dismantling ships on a molecular level. Each new revelation was delivered with the implicit assumption that humanity could not hope to understand, let alone replicate, such feats. And each time, the humans watched, their expressions masked an attentive neutrality, as though absorbing every detail without giving anything away. As the day wore on, the aliens grew bolder in their jibes. Some began openly debating among themselves, wondering aloud whether Earth was even worth the effort of integrating into the Galactic Alliance. One ambassador joked that humans would do better as tourists, marveling at the wonders of the galaxy rather than contributing anything meaningful. The hall erupted into laughter. Some aliens went so far as to suggest that the galactic community should guide humanity by offering their own superior protection, a thinly veiled offer that implied Earth would function as a subjugate under the influence of these advanced species. The humans, however, remained unfazed. Each insult and slight met with the same calm patience. This persistence began to wear on the aliens, a discomfort they struggled to understand. Some of the more observant alien leaders noted the humans' composed demeanor, sensing something peculiar in their silence, a quiet defiance that didn't fit the image of the naive species they had painted in their minds. But they dismissed the feeling as an oddity, perhaps a cultural quirk of this lesser species. As the session drew to a close, one particularly proud alien leader, a figure of enormous stature with a flowing robe of shimmering fibers, made a grand proclamation. He declared that the next day's demonstration would be the culmination of the summit, a final, comprehensive display of power and technology that would underscore the vast chasm between the advanced species and those still emerging from their primordial past. His gaze lingered on the humans as he spoke, drawing a few more laughs from the crowd. The human diplomat offered a slight, almost imperceptible nod in response. In his mind, he saw the wheels already in motion, the plan that had been meticulously prepared long before the summit began. His calm remained unbroken as the aliens around him continued to revel in their own superiority, blissfully unaware of what humanity had in store for them. The humans left the summit that evening, unflinching as whispers and laughter trailed them out of the hall. The galaxy's mighty elite continued to laugh at Earth, content in their assumptions, oblivious to the truth. The following day, the Grand Hall buzzed with an anticipatory energy. Aliens from every civilization gathered, exchanging murmurs and sidelong glances toward the human delegation, now seated under an even heavier cloud of expectation. Today would be different, they believed. Today, humanity would be pushed to reveal something, to break their composed silence. Leading the provocation was the Decloaked representative, a being known for his intellectual precision and a sense of superiority that was barely hidden beneath his diplomatic decorum. Addressing the entire summit, he proposed an open challenge to Earth. With a dramatic pause, he asked the human delegation to share a demonstration, any proof of technology that could compete with the splendor shown by the dominant species. In his tone was the thin veneer of invitation, though the summit understood his real intent, to expose humanity's limitations under the guise of opportunity. The challenge sparked murmurs of approval throughout the hall, with alien leaders from powerful empires nodding in agreement. This was the moment they'd hoped for, a public test that would, they assumed, force the humans to accept their place or, better yet, humiliate themselves by attempting a demonstration far out of their depth. A pause hung in the air as the human diplomat listened, eyes betraying no hint of unease. Rising to address the audience, he expressed his gratitude for the invitation to demonstrate, his tone giving nothing away. He confirmed Earth's acceptance of the challenge with a calm that held the audience transfixed. His response was measured, polite, and devoid of the defensiveness they'd hoped to see. Alien representatives exchanged glances, some laughing in whispers, others intrigued by his reaction. For the aliens, this display was simply a formality. They anticipated a moment of amusement, a display they could later recount as a tale of humanity's inferiority. As Earth's acceptance settled in, several alien leaders leaned forward, awaiting the supposed spectacle. The summit's energy grew charged, eager to see what humanity would attempt. Most expected rudimentary technology, perhaps a demonstration of Earth's limited weapons or transportation methods. This would be their chance to laugh, to confirm what they already believed, that humanity was an upstart species at best, woefully behind in the evolutionary race of technological achievement. But the humans offered no immediate display. Instead, the diplomat extended a diplomatic delay, asking for an hour to prepare for the demonstration. While some took this as a sign of humanity's lack of readiness, others sensed an unusual air about the humans, a quiet confidence that did not align with their assumed weakness. Nonetheless, the delay added to the amusement. The aliens settled in, sharing speculative remarks on what lowly surprise Earth might eventually attempt. As the summit resumed its normal proceedings, the clock ticked toward humanity's hour. During this hour, a hush spread through the diplomatic circles as subtle movements in the galaxy's outer systems were reported. Messages filtered in through private channels. Unknown vessels had been detected on the periphery, moving with a stealth almost unheard of, slipping past even the most sensitive of surveillance systems. A ripple of unease spread among the alien ranks, as these faint signatures drew closer and closer, arriving without triggering any standard alarms or defenses. But when scans tried to focus on them, the signatures vanished, leaving only a trace behind, a faint afterglow as if the vessels themselves had bent light and sound to avoid detection. The summit resumed, and the Decloaked representative, now visibly impatient, demanded Earth's demonstration. The humans seemed to have timed their response to perfection. Calmly, the lead diplomat signaled, and almost instantly, the mysterious fleet that had approached in secret began to decloak, revealing itself in full, right outside the summit's windows, suspended against the vastness of space. These ships were unlike anything the summit had ever seen, sleek, streamlined, absorbing and refracting the light in such a way that they seemed to shift and vanish even as they became visible. Their surfaces held a strange energy, a technology that appeared to ripple across their metallic skin, blending and reshaping their form. The gasps that escaped the audience were no longer tainted with condescension, instead, they bore traces of shock and fear. This fleet, which had gone undetected until its sudden reveal, suggested a level of technological sophistication they had not anticipated. This was a technology that played on principles none of their scientists had ever mastered, a fleet that could maneuver undetected within the galaxy's most fortified territories. In stunned silence, the audience watched as the human diplomat explained that these ships represented only a sample of Earth's recent advancements. He described them as a defensive fleet, built with a focus on self-preservation and respect for other civilizations. His tone was calm, his words chosen with restraint, as though the sheer presence of the fleet spoke louder than any boast. Earth was not here to dominate, but neither were they to be mocked. This show of power was not about aggression, but about respect. But what rattled the aliens even more was how effortlessly these ships had breached the summit's defenses. They began to grasp that these humans, once mocked for their primitive ways, had silently developed a fleet capable of not only blending into the cosmos but rendering even the galaxy's finest detection systems useless. This realization spread in waves, a gradual awareness that humanity's progress had not been as slow or unsophisticated as they'd assumed. Some alien leaders shifted uncomfortably, murmurs of disbelief spreading among them. The Decloaked representative, once confident and almost dismissive, now appeared visibly unsettled. His eyes, once sharp with arrogance, clouded with confusion as he tried to rationalize this unexpected display. How had humanity leapt so far, and why had they remained hidden? The human diplomat allowed a respectful silence to linger, a quiet confidence that needed no embellishment. He made it clear that Earth had always aimed for peaceful relations, that this demonstration was purely to open a path of mutual respect and understanding. He extended a hand in diplomatic solidarity, speaking of unity, growth, and the potential for shared knowledge. The irony wasn't lost on the audience. Those who had once believed humanity inferior were now faced with an invitation from a civilization that could have, with the advantage of surprise, dealt a blow to the very foundations of their summit. The Decloaked representative, caught off guard, struggled to regain his composure. He muttered a hurried affirmation of galactic peace and cooperation, his earlier arrogance stripped away, replaced by a polite, uneasy acknowledgement of Earth's equal status. Others in the audience, especially those from smaller civilizations, began to regard humanity with new respect, or recognition that perhaps they'd overlooked an ally, or a rival, that they could no longer afford to ignore. As the summit reconvened, the mood had shifted. The aliens, once openly mocking, now whispered cautiously, stealing glances at the human delegation. The demonstration had achieved its purpose. Humanity was no longer a mere curiosity to be laughed at, but a force to be reckoned with. The aliens realized that their initial assessment had been a grave miscalculation, a flaw in their understanding of Earth's quiet resilience. The humans left their seats quietly as the summit adjourned, their task accomplished. They had entered as the summit's laughingstock but departed as a respected power, one that, through a carefully calculated display, had earned a place among the galaxy's elite. The last glances cast their way were no longer filled with derision but with a wary respect, or recognition of a strength they had never anticipated. The air in the Grand Hall seemed to shift as Earth's fleet materialized outside the summit's observation decks, their sleek forms casting a haunting silhouette against the stars. Alien delegates watched in uneasy silence as the vast array of human ships, newly revealed and shimmering with unfamiliar technology, held their ground with a silent menace. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, their initial amusement now replaced with disbelief and awe. The ships, once assumed to be nothing more than legends or empty boasts, had appeared out of nowhere, silent and undetectable, defying the very sensors the summit prided itself upon. One of the alien leaders, a towering figure with an icy demeanor, leaned forward, his astonishment barely concealed as he struggled to comprehend the fleet's capabilities. These ships had evaded detection from some of the galaxy's most advanced systems, systems capable of identifying even the faintest anomalies. The humans had arrived unannounced, bypassing all established protocols and defenses, and they'd done so effortlessly. It was a feat many considered impossible, and its implications were deeply unsettling. No civilization had ever breached the summit's perimeter undetected. Yet here stood the evidence, undeniable and chilling. Earth's lead diplomat addressed the gathered assembly with an air of calm, his words delivered with deliberate poise. He explained that the fleet was part of a larger initiative on Earth focused on defensive innovation, built with the purpose of ensuring the safety and sovereignty of humanity in an unpredictable galaxy. His tone was carefully measured, devoid of arrogance or threat, but the underlying message was unmistakable: humanity had ascended, surpassing what anyone in the galaxy had expected, or even deemed possible. The diplomat's words carried an unsettling weight, resonating with each delegate as they processed the implications of Earth's technological leap. For centuries, the galaxy had operated under the assumption that Earth was a lesser entity, a species barely worthy of attention, let alone respect. And yet, before them now was evidence of something far more powerful and precise than they'd ever anticipated. Humanity had risen quietly, developing a technology that could hide entire fleets in plain sight, invisible to even the sharpest surveillance. This realization set off a chain reaction of unease among the galaxy's leading species. As the diplomat continued, the fleet outside executed a series of maneuvers, their movement swift and coordinated. Observing their precision, the alien delegates saw firsthand the control Earth wielded over its vessels. These ships moved with an agility and accuracy that suggested an understanding of space and physics that few civilizations had mastered. Each maneuver was flawlessly executed, a controlled display of power that left the audience in a state of silent tension. Earth had proven not only its ability to build such vessels but also its capability to command them with a level of mastery that rivaled the galaxy's finest fleets. At that moment, the Dirkri ambassador, known for his sharp intellect and long-standing skepticism of Earth, addressed the human diplomat with a question that carried the weight of the room's collective curiosity: how had Earth achieved this? What secrets had they unlocked that allowed their fleet to remain invisible until this very moment? His voice was measured but filled with an unmistakable tension, the faintest hint of unease breaking through his calm facade. The human diplomat's response was as restrained as it was revealing. He spoke of Earth's dedication to research and the relentless pursuit of progress, hinting at advances in cloaking and propulsion technologies but revealing nothing too specific. It was clear to everyone that Earth was keeping much of its progress a secret. They had chosen to show only what was necessary to make their point, leaving the galaxy's leaders in a state of suspended curiosity, unsure of just how much more Earth was hiding. This carefully guarded approach only deepened the delegates' unease, planting seeds of doubt about whether they had truly seen the full extent of Earth's capabilities. The silence that followed was almost palpable as alien leaders exchanged uneasy glances, each one realizing the precarious shift in galactic power dynamics. For centuries, certain species had held their dominance unchallenged, secure in their belief that no emerging race could threaten their supremacy. But humanity had upended those beliefs with a single demonstration, challenging the very foundation upon which the galactic hierarchy rested. And they had done so without aggression, merely by existing and evolving beyond what anyone had anticipated. In the back rows, representatives from smaller and less powerful civilizations watched with rapt attention, their faces etched with a mix of admiration and relief. For them, Earth's rise represented something monumental, a balancing force in a galaxy dominated by superpowers that often dictated terms with little regard for fairness. Humanity's presence as an equal or even superior force opened the door to alliances, to the possibility of a more equitable galaxy. These civilizations began to imagine a future where they might align with Earth, leveraging its newfound power as a means of protection against the more imposing empires. Meanwhile, the summit's more established powers, civilizations long accustomed to their unchallenged authority, found themselves in an unexpected state of vulnerability. the knowledge that humanity could move undetected, infiltrating even the galaxy's most fortified territories, was a sobering revelation. It forced them to reassess not only their view of Earth but also their own sense of security. The galactic order, once stable and predictable, now seemed dangerously fluid. A silent, mutual understanding passed among them. Earth was no longer a mere participant in the summit but a force to be respected, perhaps even feared. The human diplomat concluded his address with a simple statement, an assertion of Earth's intent to exist in peace, to seek alliances built on mutual respect rather than coercion. His words were chosen carefully, leaving no room for misinterpretation, yet they carried an implicit warning. Earth had come not to challenge or dominate, but it would not tolerate disrespect or attempts to undermine its progress. The humans' quiet confidence was undeniable, and it permeated the hall, affecting each delegate in ways that words alone could not. As the summit adjourned for the day, the atmosphere was charged with a new tension. Conversations buzzed through the corridors, whispers of doubt and concern spreading among the delegates. Some alien leaders retreated into private chambers, discussing what they had witnessed and formulating plans to either approach Earth as allies or to prepare against a potential rival. Others, particularly those who had openly mocked Earth in the past, struggled to come to terms with the rapid change in status quo. What they had once perceived as a minor player had transformed into a major force before their very eyes. Earth's diplomats left the summit hall with quiet dignity, a calm presence amid the flurry of shaken leaders and uneasy glances. They had accomplished their goal. Humanity was no longer an object of ridicule but a respected, perhaps even formidable, entity on the galactic stage. As the human ships remained visible outside the summit's windows, a stark reminder of Earth's capabilities, alien civilizations found themselves re-evaluating not only their perception of Earth but also their own vulnerabilities. In the cold vastness of space, Earth's fleet held its position, a silent sentinel marking humanity's place in the galaxy. The message was clear, and it resonated deeply with every species in attendance. The galaxy's future, once thought to be in the hands of a select few, now had a new player, one that would no longer be ignored or underestimated. And as the human diplomats departed, the summit's attendees were left with a single, undeniable truth: the galaxy had underestimated Earth, and they would not make that mistake again. Outside the observation windows, Earth's fleet remained in full view, each ship a silent, powerful presence against the stars. Alien leaders, previously eager to judge humanity's worthiness, now watched these vessels with a mixture of trepidation and awe. What had initially been an expected show of inferiority had turned into a startling revelation of power. Alien empires accustomed to setting the galaxy's terms found themselves forced to reassess their assumptions. Earth, it seemed, had crafted a fleet with capabilities rivaling, if not surpassing, the galaxy's dominant forces. The human diplomat seized the moment. With a calm demeanor, he addressed the room, articulating Earth's stance on peace and mutual respect, yet without a hint of submission. His words carried an undeniable authority, one that matched the fleet stationed outside. The ships, with their advanced technology and undetectable maneuvering capabilities, represented a direct challenge to the long-standing hierarchy of the galaxy, though their purpose, as the diplomat emphasized, was for defense and safeguarding Earth's independence rather than conquest. But the underlying implication was clear: Earth would not be an easy target for anyone seeking to exploit or control it. In a well-coordinated display, the fleet outside began a synchronized demonstration. The ships moved with a level of precision that defied traditional propulsion, utilizing rapid, calculated adjustments that appeared seamless and almost organic. Each ship executed maneuvers that left no margin for error, moving in perfect alignment and then breaking off in coordinated patterns that highlighted their responsiveness and mastery over spatial awareness. This capability alone was enough to rattle the summit's attendees. Such precision implied an intricate understanding of both space and gravitational forces that even the galaxy's oldest civilizations struggled to maintain at scale. Earth's fleet was demonstrating an ability to move not only with agility but with an intelligence that indicated advanced artificial guidance and real-time adaptability. Some alien leaders, particularly those representing the more militaristic empires, watched with a guarded expression, their minds racing as they tried to gauge the potential implications of this newfound force. The Decloaked representative, known for his skepticism, could not mask his astonishment. Earth, he now understood, was not as easily categorized as he had thought. The technological leap Earth had made could not be explained as simple advancement. It was a transformation, the kind that would not go unnoticed by any power looking to maintain its dominance. Every movement of the human fleet was a reminder that Earth's intentions were not fully transparent and that its capabilities could hold hidden depths. Amidst the stunned silence, the human diplomat emphasized that this demonstration was a gesture of goodwill, a clear but restrained signal of Earth's potential, yet guided by a commitment to diplomacy and cooperation. He reminded the assembly that Earth sought only to coexist as equals in the galaxy, a place that respected its right to sovereignty and independence. Yet, for those who understood the subtleties of power dynamics, it was clear that this declaration carried more weight than any threat could. The power being demonstrated was unmistakably a shield, but one that could just as quickly serve as a sword if provoked. The reactions among the alien leaders were varied. Some, especially those from smaller or less militarized civilizations, saw an opportunity in Earth's strength. They understood that Earth's rise could potentially alter the balance of power in their favor, giving them an ally who might provide the leverage needed to resist the pressures imposed by the galaxy's major empires. Others viewed Earth's demonstration with a wary respect, recognizing a formidable force but preferring to remain at a cautious distance, observing carefully for signs of Earth's longer-term ambitions. The established superpowers, however, viewed this turn of events with barely concealed apprehension. For centuries, they had enjoyed uncontested control over galactic affairs, operating under the assumption that no emerging civilization could threaten their rule. Earth's fleet was a reminder of how quickly that assumption could be overturned. These leaders, accustomed to holding the galaxy's reins, began to realize that Earth's presence might require them to negotiate terms they had previously dictated without question. Each ship in Earth's fleet was a symbol of that shift, a clear statement that the galaxy's power dynamics were no longer as secure as they once were. As the human fleet continued its demonstration, executing maneuvers that showcased both speed and strategic placement, alien leaders grappled with the potential implications. The technology on display suggested advancements that even the galaxy's oldest civilizations had not fully mastered. Cloaking systems capable of evading the most sophisticated detection methods, engines that allowed for instantaneous repositioning, and shielding mechanisms that appeared impervious to traditional scanning, all were capabilities that many in attendance had deemed the realm of theory. Yet here they were, brought to life by a civilization they had once dismissed as primitive. The Decloaked representative, no longer able to mask his curiosity, posed a direct question to the human diplomat: how had Earth achieved such rapid progress? What resources or alliances had enabled this transformation? His words carried the unspoken suspicion that Earth might have secured assistance from unknown sources, possibly even outside the galaxy. But the human diplomat's response was as measured as it was revealing. He spoke of Earth's commitment to scientific advancement, of centuries spent learning from failures and breakthroughs alike. He hinted at a self-reliant approach, an ethos of persistence and innovation that had driven humanity to these heights without external intervention. It was both a reassurance and a challenge, a reminder that Earth's progress was its own and that its strength came not from alliances but from its own pursuit of mastery. The response left the alien delegation in a state of introspective silence, each leader realizing that Earth's rise could not be attributed to any single factor but rather to a relentless drive that they had underestimated. The unsettling reality was that Earth had achieved this progress under their very noses, developing technologies that rivaled the greatest achievements of the galaxy's leading civilizations. In an instant, Earth had shifted from a minor player to a power capable of unsettling even the most entrenched empires. As the demonstration drew to a close, the human diplomat addressed the assembly one final time, extending a formal invitation to peaceful cooperation. His words were devoid of the aggressive undertones that many expected, yet they carried an implicit firmness. Earth's desire for peace was genuine, but its ability to defend its interests was now beyond question. the diplomat's message resonated deeply with the audience, some of whom now saw Earth not as a threat but as a potential stabilizer in a galaxy often plagued by competing interests and rivalries. The summit adjourned, but the impact of Earth's demonstration lingered in every corner of the hall. The human delegation departed with quiet confidence, their position now solidified in the eyes of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. What had begun as a test of Earth's resolve had ended as a revelation of its true potential, a revelation that would reshape the dynamics of the galaxy for generations to come. Alien leaders exchanged wary glances, the implications of what they had witnessed settling heavily upon them. They knew that the future of the galaxy had just taken an unexpected turn, and that Earth would be a force to reckon with in the years ahead. The galaxy had shifted, its order disrupted, and as the alien leaders returned to their respective factions, they carried with them the knowledge that a new era had begun, one in which Earth was no longer a distant curiosity but a formidable equal. The stakes had been irrevocably changed, and each civilization would now have to determine its place in a galaxy where humanity's influence had become an undeniable reality. The summit concluded, but its aftershocks reverberated through every faction and delegation in attendance. Alien leaders departed the assembly hall under a cloud of contemplation and unease. For the first time in generations, the galaxy's elite empires found themselves grappling with the potential for a new balance of power. Earth, once overlooked, had emerged as a formidable force, casting aside assumptions about its limitations. The revelation forced each delegation to confront the undeniable reality: the galaxy's political and military landscape was now subject to change. The alien leaders, long accustomed to dictating terms and asserting dominance, returned to their chambers with a newfound respect, albeit tinged with wariness. For many, Earth's fleet represented a paradox. It was both a symbol of potential stability, introducing a counterweight to unchecked empires, and a reminder of the danger in underestimating emerging civilizations. The established superpowers, the empires that had previously taken the lead in galactic affairs, now faced a world where their control was no longer certain. They had two paths forward: engage with Earth as equals or risk the consequences of ignoring this new reality. Among the smaller and less powerful civilizations, the sentiment was different. They saw in Earth's rise a glimmer of hope, a chance to escape the constraints imposed by dominant powers. These factions began to strategize, considering the possibilities of alliance and support from a potential partner who had shown no aggression but had proven its resolve. Earth's demonstration had provided them with a glimpse of what an ally with such advanced capabilities could offer, a means of countering the influence of those who previously dictated terms without consequence. Discussions of cooperation took root, envisioning a coalition that might stand a chance against oppressive superpowers. The superpowers, meanwhile, held private discussions behind closed doors. The Durkari and Clather factions, once the most vocal in their derision of Earth, now spoke in hushed tones about the implications of Earth's advancements. Their scientists and strategists were summoned to analyze every detail of the technology demonstrated by the human fleet, each one grasping for an explanation of how Earth had developed so quickly. Some suspected external influence, others theorized that Earth's cloaking and propulsion systems operated on principles beyond their grasp. Whatever the case, their priority became clear: to ensure that they could counter, or at least match, the power Earth had revealed. The realization that humanity's growth had gone undetected sent waves of concern throughout these dominant empires. They had grown complacent, secure in their technological supremacy, assuming that lesser species would remain exactly that, lesser. Earth's sudden rise was a wake-up call, a signal that the galaxy's balance could shift at any time, and that even the most advanced civilizations were not immune to disruption. In the corridors and meeting rooms of these empires, talks of military and technological expansion intensified, with a new emphasis on developing detection systems and countermeasures against cloaking technologies. A silent, unspoken race had begun, one aimed at countering the possibility that humanity's rise was only the beginning. Among other delegates, the response to Earth's emergence was less confrontational but no less significant. Representatives from independent worlds, trading coalitions, and intergalactic councils discussed ways to engage with Earth diplomatically, seeking to establish connections that could ensure mutually beneficial ties in the years to come. Earth's restraint and offer of peace had left an impression, one that gave rise to hope for a new type of galactic diplomacy. These factions recognized the importance of building bridges rather than walls, and many saw Earth as an opportunity to foster a more balanced and cooperative galaxy. As Earth's diplomats departed the summit, their quiet resolve left an indelible mark on the minds of the delegates. While other civilizations plotted, planned, and debated their next moves, humanity's representatives returned to Earth with a clear sense of accomplishment. They had demonstrated their strength without aggression, solidifying their place among the galaxy's elite, not through force but through the quiet assertion of their sovereignty. The human fleet remained a silent sentinel as they left, its presence a constant reminder that Earth was now a power in its own right. News of the summit spread quickly across the galaxy. Reports of Earth's advanced fleet and the dramatic shift in galactic perception sparked waves of discussion on both populated worlds and remote outposts. Traders, scientists, and explorers speculated on what this meant for the galaxy's future, their curiosity piqued by the idea that Earth might usher in a new era. Some viewed it as a turning point, one that could inspire other civilizations to pursue technological advancement in ways that were previously thought unattainable. Humanity's success became a symbol of possibility, proof that even younger species could reach the heights of power and influence through sheer determination. However, the reactions weren't universally positive. Certain militarized factions saw Earth's rise as a threat to their own security, fearing that humanity's power might one day challenge their sovereignty. They began covert preparations, readying fleets and fortifying defenses, not out of open hostility but out of a cautious desire to protect their interests. They issued orders for reconnaissance, seeking to gather intelligence on Earth's potential weaknesses and gaps in its fleet capabilities. Their goal was to be prepared, to ensure that should Earth's ambitions grow beyond peaceful coexistence, they would not be caught off guard. In the coming months, delegations from across the galaxy reached out to Earth's representatives, proposing alliances, trade agreements, and scientific partnerships. Earth's newfound status had made it a sought-after partner, one that many believed could provide insights and technologies to bolster their own advancements. Earth's diplomats carefully weighed these overtures, aware that each agreement would shape its place in the galaxy. They accepted offers selectively, forging alliances with those who had shown an openness to mutual respect and cooperation, while remaining wary of those whose intentions were less transparent. Yet, even as Earth's diplomats engaged in these discussions, they never forgot the lesson of the summit. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and while alliances could offer security, they could also introduce new vulnerabilities. Humanity had ascended on its own terms, and Earth's leaders were determined to maintain their autonomy. They invested further in the research and development of defensive technologies, preparing for any challenges that might arise as a result of their newfound prominence. Earth's leaders understood that with power came attention, and not all of it would be benevolent. Within a year, Earth's influence had reshaped the galactic landscape. Smaller civilizations, emboldened by humanity's rise, began to assert themselves, pushing back against long-standing practices imposed by the major empires. The once dominant superpowers, now under pressure from both Earth and these rising coalitions, found themselves forced to adopt more diplomatic approaches, acknowledging that their era of unchecked control had come to an end. Earth had become a balancing force, one that shifted the galaxy toward a more pluralistic structure where no single power held absolute authority. The alien empires had learned a lesson they would not soon forget. Earth, the once dismissed species from the edges of the galaxy, had achieved in a short span what they had taken centuries to establish. Humanity's commitment to peace and sovereignty had changed the rules, creating a new order that demanded respect and cooperation. Earth's fleet, with its quiet power and undetectable presence, remained a symbol of this change, a reminder that even the smallest spark could ignite a transformation across the cosmos. In time, Earth's rise became legend, a story told in every corner of the galaxy. It was a tale of resilience and innovation, of a civilization that had transcended its humble origins to join the ranks of the most powerful. The galaxy, forever altered by humanity's emergence, moved forward into an era shaped by Earth's influence. For every species, every leader, and every citizen, the message was clear: the galaxy had entered a new age, one where even the humblest of origins could lead to greatness, and where respect, once given reluctantly, became the foundation of a future shared by all.